Welcome to the Advanced Data Handling webinar. Simple queries in OutSystems allow you to get the right information almost every time, but almost? When are simple queries not enough? Today we will learn about the advanced data handling capabilities of the OutSystems platform. We will compare simple and advanced queries, learn when to use the advanced queries, and learn about the advanced parameters and output structure available. Simple queries are easy to use, have an intuitive interface, they are managed by the OutSystems platform, and are optimized for performance. Advanced queries are defined as SQL. They are harder to maintain and they are not optimized for performance. You should use simple queries whenever possible. However, sometimes you will need the extra power of advanced queries. Why use advanced queries? To help us understand this issue, we will explore a very simple database of Olympic marathon results. To start with, we will see how we can achieve the same results with both types of queries. We can use both kinds of query to select a list of medal-winning athletes from our database. These queries will simply return the content of our athlete entity. With a simple query, we just have to add the entity. We will use the test function to look at the results. Using an advanced query, we can do the same by adding our entity to the output structure and writing the appropriate SQL statement. Notice that entities and attributes are referred to using straight and curly brackets. This is the logical entity name. We could also use the physical table name without the brackets. In practice, you never need to use the physical table name for entities managed by the platform. As you can see in this example, the same results are produced, so there is no point in using an advanced query. The reason to choose advanced queries is to be able to use aggregates, such as sum and average. Let's get the average age for medal winners by its type. With an advanced query, we simply use the average function and return the data as a structure. And here's the aggregate test result. With a simple query, it would not have been possible to do this in one step. Let's see next how advanced queries give us freedom to use any SQL feature, such as conditions on outer joins, which are not available in simple queries. In this example, we want to select a list of medal winners and their countries, but restrict the country's information to the ones in Asia. To specify more than one condition on a left outer join, we must use an advanced query. Otherwise, a simple query is always preferable. Avoid using advanced queries when simple queries do the job. As you can see, our results include only information on the Asian countries. As we can see, we are not restricted and can use the full features of SQL. Besides selecting data, it is possible to use delete, insert, and update statements. This can be useful in some scenarios where you want to do mass changes to your database for maintenance purposes or for bootstrapping your application. You can also use dynamic SQL, as we will see next, as we look into the parameters of advanced queries. Both advanced and simple queries receive input parameters, but advanced queries, in some cases, handle them differently. One of the main differences is the availability of the expand inline option. With expand inline, the parameter is parsed and used as part of the SQL statement and not strictly as a value. This is very useful in the occasions when you want to change the query according to user input. such as choosing different wear conditions. Let's see a minimal example of expand inline in action. In this query, we will add a parameter and use it as a part of the SQL. This will simply receive the SQL keyword distinct and use it to restrict the results. As you can see, when we run the query without providing a default value, the full results are returned. When we fill in the default value of the parameter with distinct, the query behaves as expected when this SQL keyword is used. Expand inline is a very powerful feature, but it can also be very dangerous because it exposes you to SQL injection. A malicious user could try to insert SQL statements in his input to be executed in our advanced queries. Fortunately, OutSystems already provides a way to protect you from malicious input. When receiving parameters for an advanced query, you should use the encode SQL function. You will find it in the built-in text functions. This function parses the input and escapes any potentially dangerous characters. In advanced queries, we can deal with both Boolean and null values easily and use them in our searches. In OutSystems, whenever you need to test a Boolean record field, you can use a numeric value for the test. If you need to test if a given value is true, you use 1 for the test. Zero is used for testing falsity. When you use advanced queries, null values' existence in a table are tested using the isNull expression. In the result, you see null represented by a 0. In the OutSystems platform, null values don't exist and are represented by zeros as null identifiers. Another exclusive option in advanced queries is the possibility to unite different types of data in the same compound output result. This way you can have an output based on a combination of multiple entities and structures. Let's see an example. We'll add both a table and a structure as output parameters. The query will join 3 tables and will include all fields in the table country and the result of an aggregate function, the same way we used before. Let's give a look at the query. As you can see, we get a compound output with different information all in the same place. Quite handy, isn't it? Let's see now some other output characteristics. Output is mandatory. In other words, you always have to identify its elements, either from a table or a structure, as we've seen. The order is important because it will have a direct relation to how the output will be seen. We've seen that although simple queries are always preferable, sometimes they're not enough to get information you want. You should use advanced queries if you want to aggregate information, if you want to use more than one outer condition to join entities, allowing you to get every record from a table but only some from another, or if you want to use the full SQL features like insert, delete, and update statements for mass changes in our database. We've also learned the advanced parameter usage, either by inline expansion or by security needs, as well as how does OutSystems handle both Boolean and null values. Then we looked at the advanced output structure, seeing some of its characteristics and how we can get a compound output from different entities and sources. All this summed up really shows the immense power advanced queries put at your disposal. But never forget that, whenever possible, simple queries give you much higher manageability and performance. To learn more about the Agile platform, go to our online training, the Agile Network Academy, and take the courses there. To get hands-on, access a number of technical resources, discussion forums, and ready-to-use components and applications on the Agile Network Tech Center. Thank you.